Hey guys, good morning. Technically, I guess it is Thursday now, the 26th. It's only briefly into the morning, and that's part of the fun of the story here, I guess. But I'm recording this now for a reason. So the reason kind of goes like this. If you're following along with my journey and you're staying up to date with it, last night turned out to be fun from an adventuresome standpoint, but not quite fun how we'd hoped it would work out. So as a result, I'm sitting here at a Love's, what do they call these, truck stops basically, and I've been here for several hours. I was able to get a shower. The guys have been great to me, and but there's two reasons why I wanted to record this now. One is I'm kind of wrestling with myself as to what to kind of do tonight. I could find myself a spot somewhere out here, I'm sure, and catch 2 or 3 hours sleep, which is about all I ever go off of anyway, and be on my way. Another choice I could do was to try to start walking towards Dunkirk tonight, but I don't like to walk in the dark for a lot of reasons. And another choice is I could just stay here, and I'm sure that somehow between now and daybreak, I'm sure there'll be some funny stories or something to come on the way. That's just the way it is. So, because I'm awake, I guess my point is that if daybreak hits and I'm doing something, I'm not sure how awake I'm going to be and how clear my thoughts are going to be. So I'll try to record, because usually my morning videos are a recap of the day before. The second thing is that this is good news. I already have a place kind of lined up for tomorrow. I can't really say where, but it was a kind of a nice story. I haven't met the gentleman yet, but I'm looking forward to meeting him tomorrow. And also Friday will be a really good day because one of the PTT family used their points to put me up at a hotel, so thank you very much for that, Glenn. So those 2 nights are covered, which is really kind of cool. So it's such a better frame of mind when I'm walking somewhere, and I know when I get there I don't have that uncertainty. I mean, I know that's part of the fun, but it also is fresh off the mind not to deal with that. So again, the reason I'm kind of recording this now is I don't know how lucid I'll be at 7 a.m. or 6 a.m. when I normally record these, for one, and two, this is more important. If and when I do get to where I'm going tomorrow, I have a pretty good feeling that there's not going to be any service on my phone. It's just the feeling I have. So my point is, if I busted somehow through the night, get a head start, or I get there, in a reasonable hour when I'm normally communicating with you guys, I may be out of touch for a good portion of the way there, and when I get there. And when I get there, I promise you I'm going to hit the wall, and I'm going to be out for several hours into the night. So you guys might not hear from me for quite a while, and I want to let my family know I'll be okay. I'll communicate with you as best I can for the day. But I don't want you guys worrying what's going on, so that's why I'm trying to get ahead of the game now. So that's kind of where we're at for the next couple of days and why I'm recording this now. Anyway, so a recap of today. It was a pretty fun-filled day and pretty eventful. So the morning started when I left the Miller's home, and Max and his mom said, let's go get breakfast. And we went to go get breakfast at a bar in Bucyrus, and the bar used to be an old speakeasy. I was downstairs for Capone, but I had to laugh because it was your typical bar. It had a stripper pole on one end, had the pool tables over here, and the bar was filled with people having breakfast, and a great breakfast. So I back home we don't go to the bar for breakfast, but anyway, that was kind of a cool thing. So at that point, Max kind of took me up to where he was dropping me off for where he picked me up the night before, and I got a head start on the day. Most of you know I didn't have service for a long part of the day, and on my journey, on my walk, I came along a young man named Dalton who had passed me and turned around, and probably only the second person in my 2.5 weeks that has actually engaged anything with me from the road. So he turned around. It was really kind of funny. It's like, hey man, I gotta ask, are you camping? What are you doing? So I said, thank you for asking. Gave him my card, told him my story. Said, look, I'm really struggling with Wi-Fi. You live anywhere nearby? I said, a couple miles up the road. I said, can you hook me up? He said, I'll take you there to get Wi-Fi. So he did all of that for me, and talking with him for a little while, because I like to get to learn about the people. It was pretty neat because he carries himself very maturely, and I said, "You're like, what do you like to do for fun?" And he said, "I just work, man. I like to work, and I put money into my truck. But as a hobby, he kind of restores old tractors." He was telling me how he goes from place to place, getting old parts. But when he was doing it, again, when you're passionate about something, it just comes across in what you do. I'm hoping sometimes even I come across that way when I'm talking about this journey. So it was real nice meeting Dalton, and his line to me was funny. He's like, "If my mom knew I picked up a stranger, she'd kill me. But my grandma would be real proud." So Dalton, thank you. Much love, brother. And so that was my trip on into Upper Sandusky. From there, I met a few people. I signed my first autograph. Margaret from Bucyrus was working up there and asked me for an autograph of my card. And later on, I was walking into town. I had about 2 miles to go when I heard from a reporter that said he wanted to meet with me and talk with me. So I told he had another appointment, and I was on my way into town. Well, ironically, while I was waiting to town, I was right by the courthouse in kind of the Main Street area. It's not a big Main Street area. And I passed the Chamber of Commerce and the Tourism Board, which is what Max was for Bucyrus. So I kind of backed up a little bit and said, well, let me just go in and say hi to these folks and let them know I'm in town. Right? And give them my card. The more I can spread the word, the better. And apparently Max had let them know I might be coming through town. So they were all, "Are you Jim?" And they were excited to see me. And that was neat. So I took some pictures. I had the reporter, I forgot his name already, had come in and see me there. So he came in, and we basically took some pictures and had some fun, answered a few questions. We were going to go over to his newspaper and meet his office staff. He thought they'd get a kick out of it, but they were closed when we got there. It was kind of getting into the early evening at that point. And so I went to a bar restaurant called Shotzi's. I met some really great people there. Misha and her mom Jackie were very cool to me. Their sister Hannah works there. I met Aubrey and Abigail and some just really good people to me. So while I was there, I got on my Facebook Messenger or whatever, I got a notice from somebody in town who said, "Hey, you know what? If you need a place to stay, I got Wi-Fi, a hot shower, and a couch, and you're welcome to come by." And I said, "Well, that's great. I really appreciate that. And the quicker I can line something up, the better my night goes." So I said, "I think I'll take you up on that if that's okay." And she said, "Well, probably won't be home around 8:30. I said, "Okay, do you live nearby?" And she said, "I live in the apartments." And okay, so I Googled that. They were about a mile and a half up the road. So about 8 o'clock, I shot her an email and said, "Hey, just want to make sure we're still on. If not, it's fine. I just need to make other arrangements." So no, it's still on. I'm trying to get out of, finish up dinner. I'm in a different town in Findlay. So okay, so I started to walk up that way. I didn't want to be hanging out outside the apartments and have people thinking I was loitering. So I took my time, nice walk up. Sun was setting, and somewhere over on the side of the road was the fairgrounds. And the fence was kind of lined right along the 2-lane road, but there's a little cutout. So I didn't want to be hanging out at the apartments. This could only be a quarter mile from her apartment. So I dropped my bag, had some water, I had some granola bars. I was sitting back and relaxed, and I just kind of laid back and looked at the sky. It was a very well-traveled road, but shortly thereafter, I got a message from her on the Facebook that basically said, "Hey, look, I got to apologize. I don't think I can make it tonight. I'm not going to be able to get back." And look, that's cool. I appreciate that. That's part of the story. So as I was packing up my bag, figuring out, well, now what do I do, right? It's kind of getting near dark. I don't want to be walking in the dark. My phone, both my spare charger was dead, and my phone was almost dead. So, I want to be able to communicate with family. So I hoped that a mile up the road was going to be a mini mart. So I'm packing up. If it's not, I'm kind of jammed up a little bit. And just then, which what I expected was a sheriff's deputy rolled up. Apparently somebody had called in and said a guy was sleeping, there, which clearly I wasn't. But officer got out, kind of told him what I was doing, gave him a card, asked him to follow me. Always pitching, point the thumb. And asked if I had ID. I presented the ID, went to his car, and came back and said, "Hey, you're good, Mr. Smith." So at that point, I had said, "Hey, is there, if there's a mini mart up the road?" He said, "There is." And I said, "You don't have to have showers there. I know a lot of these truck stops have showers." He said, "I know the one back there does. I'm not sure if the one up that way does." I said, "Well, any chance you can give me a ride?" He says, "Yeah, absolutely." So he said, "Which one do you want to go to?" I said, "Well, let's take the one that way because that's where I have to walk." So, he got me up here, and my knees were crunched up into my chest like this in the back, and I was laughing. I said, you know, are all the criminals in Ohio 5'8" or under? And he kind of said, yeah, it's a little tight back there, but we find a way to fit them in. So he goes, imagine if you were in cuffs back there. And at that moment, I couldn't even imagine being, you know, cuffed behind my back or whatever. And not that I've ever been cuffed or anything. But anyway, so he took me up to Love's, and when we were getting in the party, I said, hey, can I take a picture with you, or is that against protocol? And he's like, no, we can take a picture. So we would, Officer, I don't know his name, for Corman, not Corman, but close to that. Anyway, he was great and funny, and we made some jokes, and I appreciate him, you know, hooking up, getting me here. Once here, the guys were very cool with me. I inquired about this whole shower thing, and they were telling me about how much it costs and so forth. And one of the guys told me, goes, hey, you're the guy walking across the country. I said, yeah, that's me. He said, you're not paying for any shower, the least we could do, you know? So that was very, very cool. And that kind of leads me to where we are, you know, today and tonight. So I had some good adventures today, met some really good people. Hopefully it may lead to something. The next 2 nights are covered. Now here's something that's happening. I'm making really good time and distance, and I'm doing that because you know, the truth is I really, really miss my kids, and I don't want to make this any longer than it has to be. So I'm trying to push hard. So for example, my original goal was to do 20 miles a day. And Flatland in Ohio, I seem to be doing really well. And again, there's no time limit for me, especially like tomorrow and the next day when I know I have places to go to. I don't have to spend 3 hours kind of, you know, hobnobbing. Is that a word? Hobnobbing? I don't know. But anyway, but the challenge tomorrow and Friday is going to be the health, because from here to Lima, Ohio is like, I think it's 49 or 50 miles. So I'm going to have to average 25 miles a day, and 5 miles doesn't seem like a whole lot. But believe me, you know, at the end of 20 miles, which is already a haul, 5 miles is kind of killer. So tomorrow and the next day are going to be kind of a test of my mind and wills, quite frankly. Part of me almost wishes I can get a head start down, just so I wouldn't be rushing. But I'm not going to go out there in this dark like this. Most of these roads have very small shoulders, if at all. So I'm going to have to wait till daybreak. And then again, if I pull an all-nighter here, I don't know how much energy I'm going to have tomorrow. So if I have no service, I'll try to keep you guys updated, but don't panic. Like I said, I already have a place. Looking forward to meeting the pastor and going from there. So that's about the recap for tonight, guys. There may be more stories. I don't know how the next 4, 5, 6 hours are going to hold up, but I think I'm better off hanging out here. Who knows who I might meet and what may entail from there. But anyway, so that's where we're at. Don't worry, this is all part of the journey. That's what this is about. If every night I had a safe place to go and the whole thing, it wouldn't be much of a story. So this is a good night, despite kind of the craziness of it. Thanks for listening. Thanks for playing along. Thanks for putting up with me. Again, I want to make this about point the thumb. I want you all to challenge yourselves to point the thumb when you can, and I also want to challenge you guys to share those experiences. I want, you know, my page or our page to be a community where we have dialogue back and forth. You know, on that note, I was talking today with somebody about trying to grow the community and the GoFundMe and the charities, and you know, some people are contributing. I greatly appreciate that. But guys, if we all just made it a point to say we believe in Jim and point the thumb enough to go ask one person a week for 5 weeks to join up, just one person. And if we said to that one person, could you please, almost like an initiation, put $5 in the GoFundMe page, and then for 4 weeks, carry that on. And if we just did that for 5 weeks, you wouldn't believe the numbers we could do. Like I said, week 5, we'd end up having $80,000 just in that week alone to donate to St. Jude's or something like that. And wouldn't that make, I mean, for your $5, wouldn't that just make you feel crazy special that we were able to do that? That we could be, that they're just normal, average, everyday people with just one belief and one kind of crazy person walking across the country could make that kind of an impact. I just think it'd be what a story that would be. But when I appealed last time, I don't want to say it fell on deaf ears, but the results were less than overwhelming, and so I want to kind of put that challenge out there to you guys again, to ask yourselves, point the thumb at yourselves, how hard would it be to get one person a week for 5 weeks to believe in me and us, and then ask those people to donate $5 and do the same thing and repeat it. So love you guys, have a great day. Hopefully I'll talk to you again tomorrow. And that's the update. Take care, y'all.